This is in response to Billy's Talking Points memo from, what day was it? Wednesday, March 4th, 2015, the trust factor. Now, basically, I know what you want to talk about, Billy, and the trust factor is how do we trust Iran? How do we deal with Iran? How do we trust Iran? How do we know that they can make the deal? And, of course, to bring in the trust factor, you have to bring in a whole host of other things that really don't apply to it, but let me just go over them, and then we'll talk about the deal with Iran. Now, Netanyahu doesn't want to deal with Iran. He does not want any type of deal, any way, shape, or form. Now, I do agree with what you had to say the other day, that we should continue to talk, and some type of deal is better than no deal, because at least it gets something going, and then we can always work on a better deal later on. All right, but Bibi really doesn't want a deal. Now, Israel is in a unique position in terms of where they are in the Middle East and what might happen to them if Iran was to get a bomb. But as I said before, they would never get a bomb. They will not get a bomb. And if they did get a bomb, they will not use the bomb. I used the term that we would bomb them to smithereens. I think I really need to look up. That was an old saying. I'll have to look up what smithereens means. But and then you also bring in that the GOP doesn't trust Obama to make the deal. Now, again, you know that this isn't how the way you make a deal is, you have, especially in a treaty like something like this, especially with four other players in terms of France, England, Russia, and China, is that you negotiate in secret. You have strategic areas that you want to meet. You want to meet this area, you want to meet it in this area. They can take a long time. And these things need to be done in secret because, as I pointed out the other day, there always has to be a winner. So Iran has to look like a winner, the United States has to look like a winner, and everyone else, Russia, China, etc. That this is a doable thing, this will save the world, all that other kind of stuff. But you would continue to insist that our European allies are not rallying with us against ISIL. I know you had a guy on afterwards. I really hate to watch your little commentary afterwards because you're very adroit at really picking up and going after somebody after they put in the right thing. Now, you said something about how many sorties has France done. I don't know how many they've done, and maybe they've done zero, but that doesn't mean that they haven't done a lot of other things. And as I always say, that whenever we talk in the back room where I work at, and someone says, "Well, how many sorties has France done?" And zero. Well, no. Don't tell me it's zero. Prove to me that it's zero. So, Billy, prove to me that it's zero. All right? And it doesn't make any difference in terms of a trust factor. I trust Obama implicitly to do 10 times the job you could ever remotely close to come to doing, and 100 times the job that I should put you on level with the Republicans. I trust Obama to do 100 times better than either you or any Republican could do in terms of what we need to do. And again, you conflate Putin with ISIL in North Korea, talking about savages. I don't like Putin at all. I'm not in agreement with him at all. And I don't quite think we want to put Putin in the same category as North Korea. And ISIL, we would like to see him out. We would like to see a representative democracy somehow come out of that from Europe, from Russia. Russia has a place to play. I don't think they're playing it very well. I don't want to talk about North Korea. We do have to get rid of ISIL. We have to get rid of it very, very quickly as possible. Now, again, Billy, you want to trash Obama. You want to say he's not the terror warrior. Again, who killed Osama bin Laden? All right, who is sending more troops to Iraq right now? So there's a lot going on. Now, there's one thing that I will agree with you, that you pointed out that Obama, because he's not a terror warrior, sees things in gray, whereas like someone like you sees things only in black and white. Black, white, right, wrong, good, evil. Nothing in between. That's how you think. And that's why you would never be a diplomat. That's why you wouldn't... You'd be hard-pressed to be anything except for what you are right now in a lot of ways. But the world is filled with gray. As I mentioned, there's a lot of players in the Middle East. There's a lot of priorities in the Middle East. There's a lot of money in the Middle East. and to try and bring all of the players and their priorities and what's going on is a very, very difficult thing. That, what I would say, young man, is leadership. And that's what you do, is you can only see it one way, your way, and you can't accept anyone else's way of seeing it. But you continue to say that the danger grows. The danger's been around for 100 years. It's going to continue to be around for another 100 years. There will always be hotspots all over the world. Do we need to crush ISIL right away? Yes. Did we live with Russia, the USSR from 1948 to 1988? Technically, as a country that could annihilate the entire world with all of the nuclear bombs that they had? Yes. And did we practice a way and talk to them and not have the bomb used? Of course, that's how it's done. North Korea, they've been around since the early 50s, I guess. They're not going anywhere. I don't see them getting dislodged in terms of the government that they have. And I don't see us doing that, but they're just going to be there. Now, you say the danger grows, there'll be more danger, but that's just the nature of that's the world we live in. And you indicate that the left want to attack Bibi. As the danger grows, that the left doesn't want to do anything about it. Then you bring up Christy Amaguchi, I believe her name is, I don't know what it is. She's a CNN correspondent. She talked about what was going on in the Bibi speech. You played a little bit of that. And then the thing is, you had to trash her by indicating that because she grew up in Iran till she was 11 years old, that she doesn't understand, that she has an affinity for the mullahs over there, and she doesn't understand that they would use the bomb against us. And of course, I'd like to say that the only reason you brought her up was to trash her. And as I like to say to a family member, in that, when you have to lie when you don't have to lie, that's really the pathological thing about lying. When you lie when you don't have to, that's really, really bad. But when you have to just bring up this lady, you probably never brought her up before, but she fits your narrative as someone you could immediately trash. She had no defense, and you used it as a bigger thing to trash the mullahs, to say that she's no good to listen to. You only do that to make yourself look better. You don't do it for any other reason. Now, I just want to point out, just to finish with it, the treaty, it's going to be secret until everything is signed. And then the Senate can either yay or nay it. Because we're not going to go back to France, we're not going to go back to Germany, we're not going to go back to England, Russia, or China, and Iran to either do this deal all over again just because some stinking senator from Alabama doesn't like the deal. That's just not the way it goes. It's got to be secret. Things have to be met. Schedules have to be met. Points have to be agreed upon. This is not something that needs to be brought up to the American people. And again, as I pointed out before, if the deal's not good enough, Obama can walk away from the deal. We can impose greater sanctions. And the other thing, I want to bring up a short thing about the fact that since Bibi's speech, the two senators who had brought up a fast track in terms of taking a look at the treaty with Iran, I believe Kane from Virginia and Menendez from New Jersey, and McConnell wanted to fast track it so that he could stick it to Obama. They're now saying they don't want the bill to be brought to the floor, and they're not even going to support it. So the whole purpose of Bibi's speech, even though it wasn't for it wasn't for U.S. consumption, the things that he quote unquote wanted to get done a little bit, that's all going wrong. So his speech didn't do anything over here. Maybe it did something over there. So, but again, Billy, I just want to point out the trust factor is I can't trust a word out of your mouth. You're like another family member. That even if 25 or 30 or 50% of what you say is true, no one can believe anything you say because you never back any of it up, and the rest of it is all bullshit. And that's how you roll.